Day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival started with Stage Star winning at 15-2. What did you think of this performance, Joe?
Really good performance, I must say. Great ride from Cobden.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. I was on Mighty Potter. I needed him for a few bets in terms of doubles, trebles, get him a nail delta work. So disappointing in that sense. I thought he was a bit babyish, Mighty Potter, drifting. I thought Stage Star was a bit like, in the way of the real whacker for me. Got out front, great fractions, great jumping, got in a good rhythm. And, he looked really strong going up the hill as well. So credit to it. I think it's Stage Star's probably one to watch. I know his race before he won. Did he win a handicap off top mark?
Who was that, sorry? Stage Star? Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, and I was impressed with that as well, mate. To be fair, I thought 15-2 was a big price because, it's no shakes this horse, but like I say, Cobden couldn't have rode him any better, really, for me. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think he run a brilliant race. I think second was not long till May for the small stables. I think he's run an absolute stormer, and I just don't think Mighty Potter performed. I thought it was running a little bit weird. I mean, he normally seems to be up with the pace a little bit, and I think he just maybe a couple of little niggly errors just set him back a little bit, and he didn't have the sort of finishing power that we've normally seen from him. And I don't know whether it was David Russell, but he just seemed to have an off week as well. I thought this day was his best day for some winners, and he's completely off the boil. I think probably looking back now, we maybe shouldn't have come back out of retirement. I'd probably rather him just have had a young lad on to give him a bit of a go. But it's an if and but, obviously. It's hindsight, you never know. But I think Stage Star, Paul Nicholls and Cobden, I think they've played an absolute blinder in this, and I think fair play to them for taking this win.
Yeah, 100%. For me, the one thing I would take from this was I think Davy Russell had the O'Leary comments maybe in his head a bit. Maybe, like you say, for me, he just didn't let the horse get in a rhythm. At the DRF, he let the horse just bowl along. When the horse wanted to go, he let the horse go, and he won well. Where I know after the race, he said he didn't realise how much horse he had left, and he was going to try and reserve that a bit. But you go through the race and you say, well, last year, the excuse was, and it was a valid excuse, I think he ran through the railings and he ruined his chances before he was sweating up. He hammered the first, and I think he's just gone a bit too cautious in this race. He got down to post brilliant, took the hood off everything, jumped him off. I think he's sat him too far off maybe to get him in a rhythm, and he's just tried to keep him covered up. Maybe, he's wanting to go and, press the leader and he's dragging him in and he's too back and forth. But no, like I say, fair play to the winner who's run really well. What did you think about Appreciate It?
Yeah, I'd sort of written Appreciate It off from the start. It's not an horse I've ever really got behind. I think it's too old. It's come a bit too late for him. I think he obviously jumped left in front of Mighty Potter, but then there was no real effort after that. He got obviously outstayed anyway by Mighty Potter, and Mighty Potter's hung all the way to the right-hand side rail near enough. So for me, I just think Appreciate It. It's been unlucky for them. They've just been unlucky with the injuries, the setbacks, not enough racing, and it's just one of them, unfortunately. And I can't see him really winning anything at this level, to be honest with you.
No, 100%, mate. I agree on that one.
So moving on to the Temps, was won by Good Time Jonny. Brilliant effort. Liam McKenna on board, claiming 5, got a nice Cheltenham Festival winner for himself. Salvador Ziggy, my selection, Mill Green, was in third. I thought he'd run an absolute stormer, but like I say, it's a tough race to call up attempts, and I think just fair play to whoever wins it, really. It's a bit of a throw a dart at it in and see what you get. But no, it was a good run for the winner. I think, good on him. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think if you watch the race back, Good Time Jonny jumps out the back. He jumps the first and he's getting ridden. And I was laughing with my brother, actually. I said, Johnny's not having a very good time, is he? And then he comes round from out the back of the pack and he wins very well. Great to see the Liam McKenna win as well, the jockey. So, like I say, the horse won readily and he won very well. I mean, you watch him and he's out the back all the way. And like I say, I made that comment and I was laughing coming round the home turn. I'm thinking, is this horse staying on? And then staying on, he powered up the hill and he shoved a pie right back in my face. But no, great win for Liam McKenna.
like I say, sometimes you just can't write them off, but it's a brilliant run to be that far back and to come and win. Fantastic. Next one is the Ryanair Chase. Envoi Allen has gone and won. Rachel Blackmore smashed it. Another winner for the De Bromhead team. I thought Shishkin unlucky. I thought he didn't look like he was going any sort of gallop at the start. He was niggling away, jumping a bit sketchy. I thought the one I mentioned on the pod, Hitman, was travelling. I'm thinking, here we go. This could be an unbelievable win. Is he finally going to do it? Cheap pieces on as he brought the improvement out, but he could only stay on third. But no, I thought we were going to get the real Shishkin again, but I just think you've got to take your time with him. Don't worry about it. It's one of them things. Envoi Allen's run a stormer, and you can only sit back and think, what a performance from Rachel and the De Bromhead team to keep him going at the top level still after that little setback a couple of years ago. About you, what do you think?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Like you said, great training performance. I mean, a lot of people wrote this horse off after he left Elliott's fell and then sort of had a no-show, really. 13-2 was a big price for him to go off as well. In arguably a field which didn't offer a lot. Marchese Janadel absolutely hammered every fence. Give himself no chance. In terms of Shishkin, I did think it was a bit strange, really. I could never back him at the price after what had happened before. Now, I know it was an injury and stuff, but I just felt like, could he show that again? And then you get to Cheltenham, the ground's soft. Nicky Henderson's just saying he hope he runs well. Nico was talking him down in the ring beforehand. I know he doesn't talk much cop, but the guy from ITV said his neck was looking a bit weak and stuff. The Astor, has he had enough time to recover from his win at Ascot? Was it Ascot Shishkin ran? Yeah. Nicky Henderson said, I hope so. And it was everyone was so strong on him. And then on the day, I just felt it was a bit strange. He drifted a little bit. The bookies were boosting his prices all over. I just think he had question marks. He still stayed really strong. He had a few bad mistakes, and he stayed really strong. Yeah, I think the biggest question for me is, what would you do with a horse? What do you think you would do?
Yeah, I think for me, though, I think the rumor was they're going to go for the Bowl at Aintree, which is obviously over 3 miles, and I think whatever. I know it's obviously the end of the season sort of thing, so it's just maybe go for it and see what happens. But I do think he'll probably be campaigned at sort of 3 mile for next season. I think they'll find a couple of little races for him over 3 mile, and they'll decide whether to probably A, come back for the Ryanair, or B, do the Gold for the Gold Cup and step him up even further in trip. I think that's probably what's going to happen for Shishkin. I think I won't give up on him. I think he's a top class horse. I think maybe Cheltenham did just come a little bit too quick after the Ascot race. It was only about 3 weeks. So I think if they campaign him a little bit better now he's sort of back, I think that'll probably pay a little bit more dividends for him. And I think that's probably what Nicky's going to do, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, I completely agree with you. It's sort of, you look through form and everything and you just think sometimes, like, he obviously had a really bad injury, so you can write that off. Then he's gone to Cheltenham and he's got beat by 2 lengths by Envoi Allen, which, considering how many mistakes he made and how well he stayed up, if you look at the third last where he hammered that, and Envoi Allen didn't. Envoi Allen made a mistake too, but he was travelling a lot better. Shishkin was, Nico was giving it some on him. And then you look at the second, and Shishkin didn't jump that too well, and Envoi Allen winged it. And I just think for him to stay on that much was impressive. The time before that, obviously, he's won well at Ascot. He's beat a good horse in Pictory. And the time before that, he's gone, what was it? It was over 2 mile, wasn't it, where he got outpaced all the way around, and he just never looked himself.
So, yeah, he got beat in Tingle Creek.
Tingle Creek. So you look 3 runs there. One you can write a line through, a second, and the Tingle Creek, which was over the wrong trip. So I definitely wouldn't give up on him. I think good ground would be a help instead of a hindrance for the soft ground that they seem to get, and it seemed to be a bit sticky. So like you say, the question for me and the intriguing part is, where would you take him, and would you take him on or would you back him?
Well, like I say, as a final note on that, if this was a novice race and a horse that was well touted and made a few errors and then stayed on and like Shishkin did, you're probably thinking, is he running up? Does he want to step up again? I'm probably thinking step him up, get him at Aintree, flat track, give him a good run and see what happens. I think that's what they're going to do. So see what happens with Shishkin. Envoi Allen, brilliant performance.
Yeah, 100%.
Next one, the Stayers Hurdle. Well, what a result. I mean, Sire Du Berlais has gone and won this. Teahupoo has been promoted to second, which I think is a bit of a disgrace, to be honest with you, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Dasher third. Flooring Porter, a valiant effort in fourth. The rest didn't sort of perform. So what do you think on this? Were we a bit gutted that Flooring Porter didn't manage to do it?
I was, mate. I thought Danny rode a bit of a peach, to be fair. There was a few worrying signs. I think it was like the sixth hurdle in when Danny had to really pop him out and ask him a question. But in terms of a ride for Danny, I mean, he done what he needed to, got them where he wanted them, then stacked them up and kicked home. For me, the horse drifting left is massive. You look at every other horse in and around, and they're all hammer and tongs going, to stay in trip. They're all pushing. And Danny's just trying to keep his horse straight. It's all well and good. It's all well and good being a good steer, but if you can't run in a straight line, it's never going to help you, is it? And I'm in the same camp as you, really. I thought the Teahupoo promotion was shocking, really, to be honest. And I was gutted for the Dasher connections, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's some performance this for Sire Du Berlais to come and win this. He's been beaten quite easily by a blazing Carl who's been off the track for God knows how long, and he's come here and won this. His form's not really much. His next sort of 4 or 5 runs have been nothing to squeak home about, and to come here, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was touted at about 100 to 1 early on in the morning. I mean, that is just a crazy price, and he's come and won, and you can just sit back and think, well, if you've picked that one out, you've guessed for me. But
that Leona May tipped it up, didn't she, at 66 to 1 apparently the week before or something.
Wow, fair enough. I mean, fair play. I mean, to be fair, Gordon Elliott does know how to get them right, and it was almost like a handicap plot in a Grade 1. It's almost where his form's been sort of out the back, a little bit out the back, beaten fifth, beaten fourth, and then he's come and won at a big price. Do you know what I mean? That's what sort of vibe I got from it. But so Teahupoo ran a good race. I thought everything was in his favour, and I can't believe they've took Dasher off second, because I thought he ran a storming race. He deserved second. There weren't enough interference in that for me. And I think Flooring Porter, I thought halfway through the race coming down the hill, I'm thinking he's not going to, something's going to have to come good to beat him, because I thought the race was run perfectly for him. And I just think he just ran out of steam. Maybe the niggles he's had all season and the little setbacks he's had, maybe that just took its toll in the end, and he just worked quite on his game. But fair play, they got fourth. It was a good run, just unlucky, I thought. But yeah, fair play to a big price at Sire Du Berlais winner. Yeah,
100%. Mate, I'll tell you what I do think is interesting. Flooring Porter's 20 to 1 to win this race next year. He's only 8-year-old, and a very interrupted campaign this year. I know that they only target one horse every year. One race every year. But in terms of the fourth and then the injury, can we make it? Then we're pretty keen on him. Teahupoo comes out the woodwork. This guy's the next superstar. Home by the Lee, new horse, different tactics. This horse is going to smash Flooring Porter. I thought everyone written Flooring Porter off, really. And I think 20 to 1 next year for a horse who, what is improving up until this injury and an interrupted campaign into Cheltenham, I think is pretty big. He was only beaten 3.5 lengths. I find that bizarre, to be honest.
Well, like I say, it's a big price, and if they can get him better throughout the season, it might be worth a little each way squeak. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's not the strongest sort of division at the moment, is it? So you won't put it past him going back and winning another one.
No, and for me, it's especially just a quick one to end on this as well. Especially when the owners of the horse, they love Cheltenham. They're going to want to go back and get redemption. Soon as that race finished, they're going to be thinking, right, next year we keep him injury free and we come and we win this race. They know.
No, yeah, I agree, and they probably will do that, and he might put another £1,000 each way on it. I wonder if he got 4 places.
I know.
The next one then, the play. I've not got much of an opinion again on this handicap. Seddon won it very well. I think McConnell, the trainer, small trainer, he's gone and got a handicap win at the festival. It's a brilliant performance. Ben Harvey's won and with taking 5 off, and I think again just another good. And I don't mind big prices winning handicaps because I never really have a massive opinion on them. So to see these sort of horses win, I'm all for it. I think it's great, and it's a great experience for the jockey. And I just think well done to Connections in getting him there and getting him sweet.
Yeah, completely the same, mate. Like you say, nice to see a small trainer win a tough handicap, which they're not easy to win. Every horse is there to win. Every horse, every trainer feels like their horse is handicapped to win or is handicapped to run into a place. So, like you say, fair play to them. And I don't really. There's a few handicaps where I have some big opinions on, but to be fair, there wasn't many that I really thought were outstanding. Or I don't know what you thought.
Connection just seems to have come down a touch. Hey there, Joe?
Yep.
Joey there? Yeah, connection just went a little bit then, but we'll carry on. Last race then, you weighed it well. Won the Mares Novice Hurdle. Second to last race. Won the Mares Novice Hurdle pretty well. She's pretty much made all. Pushed Freeland's clear and won very well. My selection, Magical Zoe for the De Bromheads, comes steaming at the end. I thought, just give her too much to do. Did Adrian Eskin. I thought, horses kicking on the front were doing well, and she's gone and won it very well. So, yeah, fair play to them. Unlucky Magical Zoe. I thought Lucia maybe didn't do on the ground. I don't know. I thought she'd go on the ground, but I think she just went off a little bit quick with her pace and she couldn't keep it up. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I really didn't fancy Lucia going into this. I just thought she'd beat virtually nothing at all. Like I say, I was absolutely screaming at the telly for De Bromhead to win this race. It would have just, made the week for me, really, after seeing Honey win. And then, but no, all fair play. You wear it well, ran well, and won well. Like you say, Magical Zoe. One, obviously, that I would keep an eye on, definitely, is Princess Zoe. Jumped horrendously. I mean, that was always a question mark after having such a long, flat career. Coming into a race like this where the taps are really turned on, you're up against some good horses. But for me, ran really well and was rallying well and running well and running on strong when she made a pretty big mistake again. And only to be beaten by 4 lengths after that round of jumping, for me, was pretty impressive. And I think if there's any improvement on the jumping, could be one for a handicap or a good win next season.
Yeah, I agree. I think there'll be a few come out of this race that do well next season. So it's going to be an exciting division, the Mares division again next year, with some of these go to Mares Hurdle or Mares Chase, or if they try it against the boys, we'll see.
Yeah.
Last race in Angel's Dawn, you sort of mentioned this to me the other day as a bit of a fancy, although you didn't pick it. So, Mr. Incredible, your pick did come like he was. I thought he's going to come storming home and win this, but he just didn't get there. Stumptown second by a neck, and Angel's Dawn won it pretty well in the end, just to finish us off on this day.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I was looking through, and you're looking through Angel's Dawn's form. And it was pretty good, and it just looked like a complete plot job for me. From the recent run of form, he was 3 lengths behind What Do You Want and not far away from Manila Kakuna. Like I say, my pick I thought was run on strong. The reason I picked it was because I knew it would get this trip. Just didn't really get there in the end, but I thought Angel's Dawn won pretty well, and I know it definitely saved me for that day, really. What were your thoughts?
No, I agree. Like I say, I didn't have a massive opinion on the race. My selection didn't do very well. I think I had a couple of big prices, so I think Angel's Dawn's won it well. I thought it's just, again, it's one of the handicaps. Throw a dart at it, see what happens. They're always tough. The handicaps at Cheltenham Festival are always tough to get the winner. I think if people do, it's a great effort, and you get a lot of big prices winning, a lot of the top of the market not running very well, and that sort of thing. So for me, I just think well done to Connections, and yeah, brilliant race in the end for the one that won, and I forgot the name already. Angel's Dawn. Well done.
Yeah, 100%.
Right then, final day. So we didn't do a live for this because we were all out on the Raz, on the geese. So we said we're going to do it now. The Gold Cup day, day 4, final day. First race, the Triumph Hurdle. We were on Lossiemouth. She's gone and done it. She smashed it. She travelled like a good thing, and she's blown this field away. I do think Galopin ran a great race. I think she's going to be one to take out the race big time. I think the top 2 will be 2 to take out of the race. I thought Zenta, who come third, run quite well as well, and Blood Destiny bombed out a little bit, so I'm not too sure what to make of the form, but she looked impressive, didn't she, Lossiemouth?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think, regardless of form, I thought she won really, really well, to be honest. I know Paul said she was having a look around coming at the last. She had some strange head carriage coming round the bend, coming ready to come up the hill. And for me, looked like she just wanted to absolutely steam train up that hill. And he was just really, really trying to hold her in. Rich Ritchie had won this race last year with a ban. I think this
looks like a carbon copy of the race almost, isn't it? Coming down the inside rail and winning.
Yeah, definitely,
mate.
Outside, yeah, definitely. And I just think this, this horse here got a lot of class about her. I know she got beat last day, but I did say she, that day she shot. It couldn't have happened at a worse time when she got the interference. Everyone's quicking her up and she couldn't. And it just showed for me, backed up the point that if you look the other day, when she won the other day, her head carriage was all strange and it looked like she wanted to go on round the home turn. And that was when she got the interruption the last day. And for me, that's a bit of a clever horse, really, to say, no, this is where I lost the race last time. I want to win the race now type of thing. And I just thought, like I say, she won well and she won with plenty in hand in the end.
No, I totally agree. Obviously, she won really well. We had a good go on her, and I'm buzzing that she won. I think going forward, though, it's one of them. A lot of people will be thinking, get her back to keep mentioning the champion hurdle with her. Some have mentioned chasing, Mare's Chase or Mare's Hurdle, whatever. I mean, I'd always be cautious backing Triumph Hurdle winners the next season because the form of what they do the season after is not normally that good. So I'd definitely be one of them where I'd probably leave her for the first couple of races to see what they do before I build a real opinion on the next season, to be honest. What do you think about sort of next year?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, it's the same opinion for me as for Ban, that they're still very young and they're quite babyish. They've got a lot to learn. For me, it's more of a, watching, sort of like you said there, next few runs, just watch what she does, and you should get a feel for how she's going to perform, where she's going to go. For me, I'd take her to the Mare's Hurdle and, just put her in there, give her a few good races and see where she comes, because I think there's a lot of improvement in there based on the last run. And even if she doesn't get there this year, for me, there's a great horse in there. And there's a lot to like, but also a lot to learn.
Yeah, I think you've hit nail on the head there, to be honest. And I think her and Galopin are the two to take out in that race for going forward.
Yeah, 100%.
Faivoir won the county hurdle handicap. I was on the wrong Skelton. I was on Pembroke. He come travelling pretty well. I thought I had a good chance, and he absolutely clattered. I think it was 2 out. It was 2 out or 3 out, and all the chance then was gone. And thought Piper, Filey Bay, Sharjah, these sort of good quality types come. And Faivoir and Bridget Andrews has fended them all off. Thought that's probably it for me. I think it was a good performance from Bridget to take them on and do get one over on David Russell.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Great ride, great run. Lovely to see Bridget Andrews get a winner. I thought I'd mark Sharjah's run up, come from the back, made a lot of ground up to come from the back. Finishing 4th, I thought was pretty impressive. I think that horse will be aimed at another handicap, and I would back it on better ground. Willie said going in, the ground didn't suit at all, and they're ridden her out the back, and she had plenty of ground to make up. She made it up pretty quickly in some horrendous ground, sticky ground, especially at the age. So I'd take Sharjah from the race. And also, I thought I was on Ballyadam. Looked very comfortable throughout and just completely emptied. Coming around the turn, I'm thinking, come on, great chance here, and didn't even finish in a place. But all fair play at the winner. The Skeltons again. It's what they do, isn't it? Cheltenham handicaps to go hand in hand.
Well, that's it, and I agree with you. I think it was a massive run from Sharjah carrying 12 stone. I think, top class, a class horse in the race, should I say, and just, I think, again, it was sort of horses coming from the back that just weren't getting there with it, and Faivoir's got away, and fair play to Bridget, 10 stone 11, that they had that horse carrying. And Skelton's done another little smash-up job in the handicaps.
Yeah, brilliant.
The Albert Bartlett, the next Away Fay, 18-1, Cobden and Nichols at it again. The top of the market. I mean, it was a bit of a crazy end to the race. Corbett's Cross obviously running out. I think a little bit of Cheltenham, the people, the powers that be need to have a little look at this and this sort of gap coming to that final hurdle. I think that needs to be getting shot of sharpish, to be honest, because I think that's very, very dangerous. Because that horse wanted to go one way and one way on, and he didn't want to jump that early. He wanted to go straight through that gap. Don't you think it was a bit dodgy that?
Yeah, 100%, mate. They're going to have to do something about that. And for me, I mean, you can never get away from it, but I think we were close to seeing another Annie Powell with Constitution Hill with a shadow on the hurdle. You're never going to eliminate that, and it wouldn't be the Cheltenham Festival if you didn't have a hurdle in the home straight. But that's a different matter altogether. That's you're tough to eliminate, shall we say, for the shadows. But in terms of this, young horses, they're bound to get spooked. They're bound to, come on the inside, get the rail to help. The rail breaks away. The horse wants to follow the rail. A lot of the time, horses, genuinely, you pick one side and you go to one side, unless the ground is hell for leather, horrendous on the outside, and you've got to go the inside. You're always going to get the rail to help. And I feel like the jockey's done nothing wrong. And let's be honest, the horse really hasn't either. The horse has just got confused, got spooked, didn't want to jump the hurdle. And you've got to feel for connections and the jockey.
Well, like I say, I think Ruby did a little bit of a piece on it where he sort of said the jockey had his the whip on his left hand side, and he probably should have had it in his right hand side, niggling him to come left. But to me, they shouldn't really have that option of having a gap right next to the hurdle. I mean, the gap's probably a width of the horse. It's like, why does that gap need to be there? I just think it's probably just a little bit unnecessary to have it there, to be honest. And I thought it would have been interesting to see what would have been happened after the last, because I do think he was staying on with the winner, Away Fay. Whether he'd have got him back in front, I don't know. But I think Cobden's done another good ride, and I think, at a big price, Nichols, he don't normally do very well, does he? We all sort of crab him for missing Cheltenham with the likes of Brave Man's Game last year and stuff like that, but he's gone and got himself 2 winners, so he just got.
Yeah, he had a few.
Finally, he's going to come to the party for the UK.
Yeah, you mentioned Hitman as well. Ran a great race. I don't, for me, wasn't staying on as well. I know Nichols said after the race, soon as Away Fay was coming up the hill in the position he was, Nichols only had 1 winner. Yeah, he's going to say that because his horses won, but I really believe this horse was staying on strong. And I would take, even though I was on him and I was a bit disappointed, 3-card Bragg over the bigger obstacles. I think this horse has a lot to learn and a lot more to offer. I know the owner said this before the race. He's a horse next year. He said it's cliche to say before the race, but this is a horse for the bigger obstacles. And, from what I've seen that day, I think he could be right. I think he's a big, scopy, babyish at the moment horse who has a lot of improvement.
No, I think you're right there. And I think, like I say, 3-card Bragg, Hidden Valley Lake sort of bombed out, didn't do very well. And I had Monty's style a little bit of each way. I thought he was going to be a bit of a class in the race, but he was not travelling one bit the whole way around. So fair play to Nichols and Cobden for getting themselves another winner. Sandor Clegane run pretty well in 3rd. Yeah, apart from that, not much to take out of it other than that. On to the big one then, mate. The Gold Cup. What a race this was. And Galopin Des Champs is the horse we all thought it was going to be. And he's amazing. I thought it was a fantastic race. I thought Brave Man's Game, fair play to him. He run a brilliant race. I thought it was unlucky that Aplutar got took out. Whether he were travelling enough to get anywhere near these two, I'm not sure anyway. I was gutted that Hewick fell because he was running a massive race, and if he could have got a place, it'd have been some story. Noble Yeats has come on for 4th, and the rest have sort of done what I thought they were going to do. But this guy's just unbelievable. Could anything get near him next year?
No, for me, I took a nibble on 6 to 4 for next year already. I think for me there, you're just backing on the horse turning up fit. I can't see anything coming out. I mean, he stays, he's the youngest horse. He's going to improve, even though there's not much to improve on. He settles. And you know what, as well, he didn't have the clearest run, and he didn't have I thought it was a sort of a bit messy race, him and that Plutard. We kept getting shuffled back. I would come and say that I did think a Plutard could have travelled them both. I think could have definitely got second. Could have beat Brave Man's Game, because the way he stayed up the hill last year was so impressive. And the time he got pulled up, he was never travelling. I thought he was travelling, and he was travelling pretty well. Yeah, he didn't jump with as much fluency as he has done before, but I watched him on the morning have a little gallop, and he was grabbing hold of the bit, having a look round, looked full of himself type of thing. Credit to the winner. What a performance. I mean, this is a serious... To go from a handicap 2 years ago to falling in was it the Turners?
Yeah, fell in the Turners last year.
Yeah, falling in the Turners and then coming here and absolutely falling up. I mean, the only question for me was it a tired fall last year? That was my question. He leapt brilliantly, landed well, and his front legs crumbled. But he answered every question there. And like I say, the money come again. Brilliant. And like I say, for everyone watching, I'll be backing him next year, because you're backing this horse being fit next year.
Yeah, I think nothing's going to get anywhere near him, to be honest. I know he's a super short price, which just kind of puts you off. It makes you think you've probably got to wait to back him, really, because in the hope that a few others come out the woodwork and it maybe push him out of touch. But I can't see anything getting anywhere near him. He's an aeroplane. He's a brilliant horse. He's got bags of improvement to come. I think Plutard, maybe if they keep him fit all year, but he'll sort of be 9 going on 10. He's sort of coming towards the end, and some of these youngsters, your Jerry Colons, are going to have to come, and they've got about 10 leagues to come up to get anywhere near Galopin Des Champs level. So for me, I think he's probably going to go on and win maybe 2 or 3 of these going forward. So yeah, let's just hope that he stays fit, he keeps running, and we keep getting to watch him.
Yeah, the question is, do you think he'll be more of an album photo where they just keep for this race now every year, or do you think he'll run at all the festivals and all the trips?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I'm obviously I want him racing. I'm hoping that I want to see him 3 or 4 times a year, and then the Gold Cup in an ideal world. I get what sort of they did with Album Photo coming towards the end a little bit, but this guy's young, he's fit, he's such a beast, and hopefully we get to see him 3 or 4 times in the season, the DRF over Christmas, that sort of thing. And he just keeps winning, and he just keeps putting on these exceptional performances, and hopefully it'll raise everyone else's game, and they can have something to target, and we get some good battles, because Brave Man Game's got some improvement in him, and he's got 7 limbs to make up on him, but he's probably going to go win a King George next year, because there's nothing much coming out of the woodwork to beat him either. He's improved by no end, and I'm probably going to have to start getting on his side rather than against him all the time. So yeah overall, brilliant performance.
To be fair, I was well impressed with Brave Man's Game. Didn't think he'd get up the hill at all. And I think sort of Galopin Des Champs made him look less impressive than he was. I mean, he jumped, he travelled. But another great Nichols performance, really. But just to, top up sort of what my point earlier about if you'll see him much or not. You've seen him over 3 mile 2 in March. Then he was 3 mile at the DRF. Then before that, in December 2 mile 4, in April 2 mile 4, Cheltenham 2 mile 4, Leopardstown 2 mile 5. And now I know he's stepped up, but I feel like there's not that many races for your strong 3 milers. Would the one and bring him down? I know he settles at that trip now, but would you risk bringing him down to a shorter trip to then step him back up near Cheltenham and lose the sort of classiness over that trip and the getting used to the 3 mile plus?
It's going to be interesting to see what Willie does, and like you said, there's not many sort of staying races, but I think he'll sort of the Irish Gold Cup and that sort of thing. I don't think they mind bringing him to 2.5 mile. I think he sort of wins, and there's nothing that can get very close to him, so it's not like it's taking that much out of him. The only sort of risk is obviously jumping, but he jumps well, he travels, he settles. He's just a complete package into really.
For me, I'm going to say it now. This guy's a certainty for next year if he turns up fit for me. I mean,
yeah, if he's there fit, he's probably odds on the day, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I could see him going 1 to 2. I mean, you look at the favourites this year. Shishkin was odds on favourite after the last 4 runs. Pulled up second, pulled up third first. Mighty Potter, albeit he's won, but he didn't beat much. He was odds on favourite. Your only favourite that was sort of a strong favourite who won at the festival last year was Constitution Hill. He was 1 to 3.
Yeah, and I think it'll be that sort of prize, I think.
Yeah, this horse has won. I mean, all the backers, all the Irish got on him, and everyone knew that. Everyone in the know knew that this guy was a serious horse, and I just think next year, if this guy turns up fit, you know, nothing. I wouldn't say nothing went right this year, but he was out the back. It was a bit bitty. He made a few mistakes. He made a mistake third out, nearly nodded on landing, and to get up the way he did, Paul gave him a couple of slaps, and that's it. It was so impressive. I could talk about this all day, mate.
Yeah, no, it was exceptional, mate. So yeah, moving on, we'll fly through these last 3, and then we've got a little bit of a question at the end to finish us off. But Premier Magic won at a massive price. The the Hunters Chase. Again, not really a race I get involved in whatsoever. Vaucelet, favourite, bombed out, and a massive price has won it, and that's all I've really got to say on it. It's not really a race I'm into, to be honest. So if you've got anything to say it now, mate.
No, nothing really. I mean, I'm just looking through there. I was on famous Clermont, who travelled like a dream. And, I mean, if you watch the race, they all finished hanging. You know, I feel like Bellaweda won this race if he'd have stayed up. He's the only horse that flies up that hill over the ground. Like I say, there's not much really to say on the race apart from if you can find a horse who can get the trip and get it well and jump. You know, it's a horse to be on the right side of, because Premier Magic did nothing special apart from staying up the hill pretty well. I didn't think he had a massive turn of foot or anything. Yeah,
the only thing I'll probably say is hopefully Fern's Lock runs in this next season, because if he does, I'll be backing him, and I'll probably be backing him if he comes in. If it's priced up and he's in there, I'll be backing him. I think I'll take Andy Post because he's going to be a beast in this. I think he'd have smashed all these if he'd have run, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right, last 2 races. Mares Chase, fantastic race to finish us off near enough. Impervious, Algoy Des Champs. I thought I've put them both next to this side. I've put them both next to each other here. It was an unbelievable battle between 2 great mares. I thought Algoy Des Champs was going to storm up the hill, but just got outstayed in the end. Impervious, fair play, settled, jumped well, did everything I probably said she wasn't going to do against the machine that is Algoy Des Champs, but she's gone and won. Brilliant performance, and another winner for JP.
Yeah, 100%. Her win reminded me of the last day. I thought she looked hammer and tongs, and then she looked pretty comfortable at the line. Algoy Des Champs winged the last and absolutely winged it well. I just think, and to be fair, I mean, you can't really say she didn't battle or she didn't run well. Or it was just impervious. You've got to give credit to her and the training performance, really. She stayed up the hill stronger, and there's nothing more you can really say upon. They both jumped well. They both showed what they have. I think there is a lot more improvement than Algoy Des Champs in terms of hasn't run against much, hasn't had many big races, big battles. I think there's definitely improvement in this one, and I'd probably, be looking for next year where she's going to land and what she's going to go for.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they stick to the Mares Chase or if they go against the boys. I think both of them could do it easily, especially getting £7 off them in these big races. I think they both look exceptional mares, and I think hopefully they will have a crack at the boys. But if they don't and they both come back for the Mares Chase, we know we're going to get another classic battle between them.
Yeah, 100%.
Last race then, mate. The Martin Pipe. JP had the 2 winners in the last 2 races. He had the 1-2 in this, No Ordinary Joe, and the winner, Iroko. Another good performance, another good handicap winner for JP. Not much to say. He's done well. He's 1-2 again.
100%, mate. He's done really well. Obviously, I didn't even look at the horse or the odds or the form. I just seen Joe in the name, and I went and backed it next door. And at the time, I did have a late bet on Might Eye, and this horse travelled really well. And I thought there
were a few coming travelling towards the end. Firm Footings, Imagine, them sort of horses all looked like they were travelling well.
100%. I mean, if you watch the race back and you look at the blue, of mine. I was really taken the way he travelled. Coming round the bend, I put my slip on the table. Normally I don't do it. I was like, come on, this could be a real good thing here. It was a bit like Ballyadam. Coming round the home bend, the biggest question is, will I get up the hill? And up the hill definitely will show who's got the most in hand in terms of handicaps. And McManus is an expert at these, isn't he? He just picks the right horses for the right day, gets them perfect. No qualms on that. Stayed up the hill really well.
No, mate, it was fantastic, and it was a nice end to the week. And it was just a brilliant week overall. And I thought we waited a long time for it, and there was good winners, there was exceptional stories, there was just great moments throughout the whole week. And I think I thoroughly enjoyed the whole week, and I can't wait to do it all again next year.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
So I think what we'll do is then to finish us off. Quick question for you. I want you to give me a lucky 15 for the 2024 Cheltenham Festival. I know it's majorly late. Oh, sorry. A long way to go. But a long way to go. But if you want to give me a lucky 15 for next year, what would it be right now?
So my lucky 15 would be, back this guys as well, Galopin Des Champs for the Gold Cup.
Yep.
Arkle Marine Nationale. I would back Ballyburn for the Ballymore. And I would be backing... Who else would I go for? Who else have I backed? I would probably go for... Let me have a look. Let me have a quick look.
Go on, then I'll go first then. I'm going to go for A Dream to Share in the Supreme. I'm going to have Marine Nationale in the Arkle. And I'm going to have El Fabiolo in the Champion Chase, and I'm going to have Galopin Des Champs in the Gold Cup. That'll be my lucky 15 for next year. I think that's got a right chance.
Yeah, I have just looked at mine, and I do have El Fabiolo for the Champion Chase at 11-4. So I'm happy with that.
It's a good price. Like I think them two lucky 15s got a brilliant chance. I think the other one I mentioned is, like you say, Ballyburn looks an interesting one. There's a couple in there, and we'll probably do a bit of an anti-post show when the sort of jump season comes around. Once we've got through flat season, we'll do a bit of an anti-post series. I think got some good ideas for that. And we'll just move on now to next week we've got the Ulster National. We're going to do a little bit of a preview of that, I think, and then we've also got the likes of the Grand National meeting. We've got Scottish Grand National, Punchestown, that sort of thing. So we're going to finish off the jump season in style these next few weeks.
Yeah.
Before we then move on to the flat, are you looking forward to that? On the last note, Joe, are you looking forward to the flat season this year?
I am, mate. This is the one I like, the flat. I do love the jumps, but like I say, this weekend I have booked York Ebor, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I have also booked Royal Ascot. So I can't wait.
Fantastic, mate. I'm sure I'll join you on one of them. I might join you at York at some point, and we'll definitely got plenty of stuff coming for the through the summer. Loads of stuff planned, load of previews, reviews, loads of live shows. So hopefully you can all join us for them. And we'll hopefully get cracking through the summer, finish off this jump season, then get cracking. So any final notes, Joe?
No, not really, mate. Just like I say, another brilliant festival. I can't wait for next year already. I've been sending messages out. Can't wait for next year. I've put the holidays in for next year already, so perfect.
Fantastic. And like I say, if you are listening, we do appreciate if you do like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, give us a rating on Spotify if you're listening on there, your car journey into work. We do appreciate you all listening to our opinions, and hopefully they do sound all right in your ear holes. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, and I'll say goodbye, Joe.
Yeah, goodbye.
Right, cheers, everyone. See you next time. Goodbye.